Strictly music, only music and nothing else. And just like I said in my last video, I am back, all gas and no breaks. I hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl performance. And if you tuned into my last video, you would know that Kendrick did go the woke route that I assumed that he would go. So go ahead and tap into my last video and you'll see my thoughts on that. I was about 90% correct. I was incorrect about the track listing being valid, but I'm not going to get into that much on this particular video. You can tune into my last video and see my thoughts on that. And if you already tuned in, much love and appreciation to you, and much love and appreciation to anyone who continues to support this channel of mine as it continues to grow. We're on the road to 200, so much love to you guys. Today I am coming back with a album review. We're going to do Central C's Cant Rush album, and we're gonna get right into it. I got a lot of album reviews to cover, a lot of ground to cover, a lot of time to make up for because I was out of the game for a bit. So let's get right into this. All right, Central C Cant Rush, track 1, titled No Introduction. Track 1, the beat starts almost ominously as C immediately goes at it, and the introduction title, No Introduction, is very self-explanatory for how this song takes off initially. There's no time wasted as he fires bar after bar after bar, and if this track is any indication of how the project is going to go, we are truly in for a treat. This is flames out the gate, flames. I really like this track, and that was track 1, titled No Introduction, and no introduction was needed. C took off on that, so big ups to him. Now track 2, 5-star. C doesn't waste much time in general, and on this track, he doesn't waste any time either. This track is no different than his usual approach. I'm torn between the flow or the bars that makes Central C's style so appealing, but I do know that this track is very good. It finishes with a UK sounding DJ drama almost. I'm not entirely sure who's that on the shout outs. I just refer to him as a UK style DJ drama, as we know DJ drama to be one of the most iconic voices when it comes to shouting out on a track, and C appears to have a UK version of that. So I also like that. That was a very nice touch as well. Now track 3, Gotta, featuring Young Miko. So we get our first taste of diversity early on in the project, as we're only on track 3. And C is joined by someone who is referred to as Young Miko. I gotta do some more research on them. Further breaking the language barrier and adding a bit of a Latin touch. Tracks like this are usually indicative of artists that have a far-reaching fan base, and they use tracks like these on these bigger projects to penetrate, their non-English speaking audience. So this kind of shows that Central C's fan base is indeed global. Anytime you see a track like this on these big projects, it means that the artist has a fan base that goes beyond the conventional English speaking fan base when they mix it up with these different languages and cultures. So that track was enjoyable. Now track 4, St. Patrick. Easily my favorite beat so far, as we hear the cream sample flip in the beginning. This one got some serious bounce to it, as C does what he always does and goes right at it. The beat complements his non-stop style very well, as we hear a constant chime in the background. So this one is just constantly busting you over the head, and I like that. I think it complements C's rap style very well. Again, I'm not sure if it's his bars or his flow, his delivery, but something about his non-stop style, it's very enjoyable. I find C to be a very enjoyable listen. Now track 5, which is GBP, featuring 21 Savage. Joined by 21 Savage, I like the chemistry of these two a lot, as C flexes his knowledge once again by naming infamous criminals based in the U.S. throughout history. C seems to be a very well-traveled individual, and I like that. I like when he uses that angle in his music, and 21 also added a lot to this track. So 5 songs in, and I'm definitely getting the worldwide global feel when it comes to C. This is a very educated individual. It's a very well-traveled individual, and I like when he portrays that through his music. As a American New York native myself, I like to take a trip across the world sometimes when I listen to these other artists, and being a UK artist, C takes it even further by going global with it, with these Latin style songs, or even just taking us down a trip through American history as he goes all over the country and names various infamous criminals throughout history. So I like this track a lot as well. Now, track 6, Top Freestyle. This track is good. Is the track good? Yes. Another great beat as well, but Central C's flow does not change much, and as we well know by now, that habit can make a project a bit stale early on. I don't perceive it to be repetitive yet, which just is a testament to his ability, because even though we've seen the same style throughout the track, and as we're six songs in, nearing the middle of the track, it's still not stale. I could still listen to it, but it's a dangerous line to walk with the repetition on these bigger projects. We've seen some of those people fail miserably doing that. And if you want to know the people I'm referring to, take a look through my channel and you'll see some of the individuals that I've kind of gave a little bit of flack for the repetition of these bigger projects. Like, you want to see some diversity with these bigger projects, but the beat does carry a bit on this track to add the diversity. So he is being carried a bit on this track by the beat, but he's walking the line. However, he has not crossed it. So as we continue on during this project here, we're going to see just what becomes of that repetition, whether it is a plus, whether he switches it up, or whether it crashes the whole project down. So we'll see. Track 6, the beat definitely carried him on that. Now, track 7, Up North, another beat I enjoyed, though his flow can be repetitive. So here we go again. We're 2 for 2 now with the repetition. It's getting a little nervous. Very enjoyable. C has the ability to paint a picture while still simultaneously making you want to move. So that is definitely a skill set. But that repetition, we are definitely towing that line. And that was track 7, Up North. Now, track 8, CRG featuring Dave. Joined by Dave, I like this track a lot. Maybe my favorite track on here that's still up for debate. Dave adds a lot to this track, and C does what he does. The beat follows the trope of the last few tracks, which is fire, because the beat selection has been fire. I mean, song 6, the beat straight up carried him. So the beat selection is not lacking in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Definitely my favorite track up to this point. Flames. The chemistry of Dave and C is something to be spoken of, because this song is great. And the song with him and Savage was great as well, but the chemistry between him and Dave easily eclipses the chemistry between him and Savage. Now, track 9, Limitless, another sample flip. C speaks his mind on this track and speaks his heart. And on these large projects, we can appreciate that a lot. C proclaims, if I don't pay the bills, then who will? And that is a sentiment that any breadwinner or someone who provides for their family can relate to. So track 9, Limitless, I definitely found enjoyable because it was relatable. And you can always enjoy when an artist comes down from the lifestyle that they live and that they're known to live and relate to us on a personal level. That is a sign of true artistry, and I do always enjoy that. Now, track 10, Now We're Strangers. So we finally get a new flow from C on this track, along with another beautiful beat. So this is definitely a breath of fresh air as we're now halfway through the project. This track, not sure who's the singer on this track, so if you know, drop the name in the comments, drop a link to maybe some of their music and educate me. I'm always open to be educated when it comes to strictly music, only music, and nothing else. So don't give me unsolicited advice. Just inform me about the musical advice, and I'll be happy to take it. This track is definitely a breath of fresh air, and we needed that. We needed that splash of water on our face faces to break up a little bit of that monotony and that repetition of the previous songs. So that was definitely necessary. And that was track 10, Now We're Strangers. Now track 11, Truth and the Lies, featuring Lil Durk. Iconic neo sample flip. So sick of love songs as C gets into his melodic bag, and we see this often on these bigger industry projects. The top half will be rap heavy, the bottom half will be melodic, or vice versa. So pay attention to that. If you want a little bit more knowledge on that, listen to some of my previous album reviews. Listen to the one with Lotto. I do also believe the one with not Kanye. I want to say Lotto. And there was another artist I can't think of. So just take a browse through my discography when it comes to my album reviews, and you'll see what I'm talking about. A lot of times they break these albums into halves: melodic on the bottom and or top, and rap on the bottom and or top, in no particular order. Just make sure that they're interchangeable. So we do see that, and we do get a bit of fresh air. And a Durk feature is always going to automatically make it a smash, but it's not a personal favorite of mine. I don't think it's one of the better songs on the album, but I wouldn't be mad if you would consider it to be, considering who's on the track, which is Lil Durk, one of the biggest rappers in the world, and it's by no stretch of the imagination a bad song. And that was track 11, Truth and the Lies. Now track 10, featuring Skepta, joined by Skepta, not too far off from the tracks that we heard earlier in the project. However, Skepta does add a lot to this particular track, as he takes up a good majority of the track, or at the very least, it just seems that way. He adds a lot, and his presence is very, very felt. His presence on this track is very large. No Diddy. And it almost seems like C is a feature on this track. Skepta definitely carries on that. Not too far off from what we've already heard. The only difference is it seems more like a Skepta track and less of a C track. And artists do that. Sometimes they'll throw each other a song and say, hey, you can add this to your album because I like it so much. And, just sign the paperwork, you can have it. And that seems like what happened here. Little industry games. Now, track 13, Band for Band. If you know, this was the single that they chose to push this project. So by no means is this particular track new to anyone. This track has thoroughly circulated. However, I'm not overly impressed by this track, and I never was. I don't believe that it's better than a great many tracks on this project. Baby did add to this track. However, he's not the best feature on this project by any means. The song itself is not bad, but it's not inherently different, and it's not better than a lot of tracks on here. It's good. It's okay. I got the feature with 21 above that, and I got the feature with Dave CRG track 8 above both the Lil Durk track 11, Truth and the Lies, and the Lil Baby feature track 13, Band for Band. Not bad tracks, not the best though. Band for Band is okay. Even though it's been oversaturated, they're pumping a lot of money into it, it's just okay. Quid pro quo, Baby's album dropped, C's album dropped, not too, within a small window of each other. Let's push the song that we have with each other. One hand wash the other, they both wash the face. But it's just a decent song, nothing more, nothing less. Now track 14, Gen Z Love. Over the course of this project, I've come to like Central C on the softer beats. I'm feeling this song a lot as he talks about how he met his woman on IG, hence the track titled Gen Z Love. I like this track a lot, probably easily in my top 3. Easily in my top 3 to top 5 for this whole project. I like this track a lot. And he said, when they ask me how I met you, I'm telling them Gen Z love, because we live so much on our phones nowadays. We're meeting all of our girls and significant others via the phone, internet, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of these dating apps. That's how we're meeting them. And I like that he finally put a label to the phenomenon that we're all experiencing. He calls it Gen Z love, and I think I'll also stick with that as well. Now, track 15, Walk-In Wardrobe. Another good beat. It has an almost dance type of feel to it, so I do like that. Let's see what I feel about this. Not anything different from C, you know. I like his delivery. Nothing really different in terms of content. However, as we are now in the tail end of the project, I'm no longer looking for anything super grandiose or super different from what we've seen. Pretty nasty beat switch towards the end of the track, and we also had a Kai Cenat clip in there, so I do like that. You know, it's always, you know, shout out to Kai or any other young black man that's working hard to get their name out there or just solidify their position and continue to get the notoriety. So anytime they throw somebody like Kai or any other black man, I'm always in support of that. But nothing really to write home about this track. It's a regular Central C. Not bad, but regular C. Track 16, Must Be. I like this track a great deal, as well as it opens up with a question from an unnamed individual. What's your definition of real? The individual then replies, shooting people for your friends, which prompts Central C to start rapping as he lists off everything that makes you quote unquote real, like providing opportunities for his friends so they could leave the streets and retiring his mom. The subject matter, coupled with the softer, more melodic style beat that I like from C, puts this track high on the overall listing for me. Not top 5 per se, but high nonetheless. And maybe I'll recant that statement after some further listenings, because I do feel like this can squeeze into the top 5 spot, or maybe even the top 3 if I really give this a lot of playtime. There's replay value on this, and as we know, when you replay something, it gets higher and higher on the list. Track 16, Must Be. I like that track a lot. Where it falls on my overall listing for this project, to be determined. Let me know where you got track 16, Must Be, on your listing, and then we can discuss down in the comments section. Now, track 17 to close out the project, Don't Know Anymore. Another softer melodic driven beat as C spills his heart on his mental state, his father's health, his mother's financial state, and his little cousin following the initial bad habits he had to make to get to the point where he is currently. The track ends with a sample flip. One thing I can credit C with throughout the entirety of this project is his ability to be transparent. As we are at the end of the project, we can say that transparency, has thoroughly enhanced the experience for this project, as we've seen before in tracks like Now Where, Strangers, Gen Z Love, Must Be, and track 17, Don't Know Anymore. So what do I think about Central C's Can't Rush? I think it's a great project. Great may be a bit of an overstatement, but I do think I'll say great for lack of a better term. It's not a bad project. It's not a mid project. It's a good project. I don't really do numerical grading systems or alphabetical grading systems. I let the court of public opinion decide where these albums rank in the grander scheme of things. So you guys get in the comments and let me know what you think of this album. But I do think it's a very, very good album. I will be listening to some more tracks off here. CRG featuring Dave, Gen Z Love, and let's see here, Gen Z Love, track 16 as well. So there's a few on here that will be getting a bit more attention from me. Maybe even the one with him in 21, GBP. So it has replay value, and only critique I can have with C is that it does become a bit repetitive at times, but his flow is so infectious that you almost let it slide, which is rare, because repetition is often the death of a lot of these larger bodies of work when they all sound the same. C manages to make a lot of these things sound the same, but they're also very different. He is unique in that regard. He says the same thing sometimes, but you don't mind hearing it. So big ups to C. I think this project is very good. Give it a listen. Let me know what you think. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Go ahead and check out my previous video if you tuned into the Super Bowl. I think you'll enjoy that a lot. Go ahead and check out my other album reviews. Like I said, hit up the one with Lotto. That's where I touch a bit on, you know, the structuring of how they structure these larger bodies of work with these industry guys, how the top half is melodic and the bottom half will be rap or vice versa. So I got a lot of things you can sit there and listen to. I appreciate everybody who appreciates me, love whoever loves me, and strictly music, only music, and nothing else. We're on the road to 200, so let's rock out. Get at me. I'm here for it all.